What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio at San Diego Comic-Con 2025. I swear I've been excited for all the interviews that I've done here, but this one in particular, the team behind The Long Walk, one of my favorite Stephen King novels ever. I have listened to that audiobook more times than I can count. I'm so excited to see your movie, and early congrats to all of you.
Thank you, Perry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm also excited for this interview.
I feel like I'm going to like turn into a puddle of mush and not be able to speak if you tell me you saw me on the Nuvi screen again.
Oh, always. Yeah, no, I love you on the Nuvi screen. Thank you.
It feels like you make certain things like that in a vacuum, and the fact that it actually exists and people see it, it'll never compute in my brain. JT, I'm going to come your way first here. I'm very curious about the script to screen experience with this story. So the book was first published in 79, and there are many things about it that are still very relevant to this day, but also the world is in a very different place. So can you tell me a little bit about some themes and ideas that you held tight to, but also how you had to evolve the movie for a modern audience?
Yeah, I read the book, I think, 12 times or something. I mean, it's part of the process you go through once, and you sort of underline things that you want to use, like things directly, like dialogue and stuff like that. And then you go through again, and you're like, what is Stephen King saying here? And what are these metaphors, and what do they mean, and how do they apply to the world today? And unfortunately, even though Stephen King was tackling specific things at that time, unfortunately, it's very relevant. And so the movie has a lot to say about authoritarianism and power dynamics in society, and the promise of wealth if you do certain things. Anybody can make it, but all of us can't. And so the themes were really exciting, and I talked to Francis about it when Roy brought me the project and said they were interested in me writing it, and it was just a dream. And then I met with Francis Lawrence, and I was so excited that Francis wanted to go all the way. He was like, I want to make the movie Francis wanted to make is the one I wanted to write, and we both wanted to honor Stephen King. And by keeping his themes in place, keeping his the DNA there, but definitely like making it something that's watchable in under 2 hours in a movie theater, And the key to that was casting, because at the core of Stephen King's story is this. It's a love story. It might be a story about friendship and loyalty and love and going through life, meeting people, loving them and losing them. And so when Francis got to the casting portion, that's why I feel like the movie works, because of them and because of their friends in this movie. It's just, it was a beautiful thing to watch them bring these characters to life.
Every single time I've spoken about this movie in the last couple of months in interviews, I've only heard the absolute best about every single member of the ensemble. And it's a large ensemble, and that every single person, no matter how big or small their role is, makes a huge impression. I'm going to dig into that with the two of you in a moment. But Roy, this might be more of a Francis question, but I'm wondering if you could speak to it a little bit. So with The Long Walk, you are essentially just walking. Can you maybe speak a little bit to how Francis captures that dynamically as far as his visuals go, so that, the suspense is being upped and we're building towards that big finish every single step of the way?
Well, I mean, it's hard. I think that's a hard one for me to answer, because that's more thing for Francis. But it was just exciting to see him tell me this is a movie that he's done in a different way. He said he's never shot a movie sequentially, where it's like, every time, when we shoot movies, we just shoot according to the schedule of how it fits within the time period we have, and shooting certain scenes that aren't sequential. But now it's like these guys got to walk essentially what the kids walked in the movie over the course of the production of the movie.
I mean, their physical appearance changes, their mental state changes as the movie goes on, because they're actually doing it. I mean, it was pretty amazing.
Did he request that it film in sequence, or is that something you were always prepared for from the very?
That was from the very beginning. That was the plan.
Smart move.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, he told me that in the pitch meeting, when I met with him he was like, I want to shoot this in order. And I thought it was a great idea.
Ooh, I love that. Two more questions. I'll pose this one to you, JT. Does this movie happen in a particular year?
the idea, and I don't want to speak out of turn because it's a Francis Lawrence movie, so I want to make sure I word this properly without him here. But the general idea is that it's sort of out of time. It's sort of like if there's if something different had happened in history, perhaps during one of the wars, and we didn't win one of those wars, and sort of there was a divergence maybe sometime in the 60s, that's the version of America this takes place in, something to that effect.
That kind of just answered my next question, because one of the things that struck me most about your most recent trailer is the shots we get of what life is like in the country outside of the actual walk. And I feel like I could feel that in those. All right. It's hard for me to ask you questions about your characters when I know exactly what they're about and what happens to everybody.
I'm glad you're a fan.
In an effort to tease them for people who don't know who they are, can you each tell me your character's greatest strength, the thing that would give them a chance of winning the long walk, but then I also want to know their greatest weakness, the thing that could do them in?
I love this question. And thank you.
I'm so curious to hear how you both answer it.
Thank you. Yeah, look, I read the book 3 times. I too am a fan of this IP, and to be able to bring this to life in such a dynamic way that we're all so proud of is a true honor. Stebbins is quite a mysterious character, and we're not too sure why that's the case. I think a strength to him is kind of his walls up mentality and that kind of like F all kind of feeling, because he doesn't want to get close to these boys, right? Because his idea is, I'm going to beat all of them. I'm going to win this. So if he's going to win, he has to run down every other boy there. So if he gets close to them and he bonds with them, it will only hurt him more. So it's not coming from a place of anger. It's coming from a place of sincerity, I think, and self-preservation. I think that also might be his weakness, because to be so isolated in life and on the long walk is a sad reality. And I think that both Peter McVries and Raymond Garrity, played by Cooper Hoffman and David Jonsson, so well, by the way, they find that companionship and that brotherhood within one another. And I think that is what helps them throughout the walk, along with Art Baker and Hank Olson, played by Ben Wong.
As you were explaining that, I'm like, Art's mentality is completely the opposite.
Exactly, yeah. So chat with him about that.
Literally, I didn't read the book 3 times.
It's good. You should try it.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, obviously Art Baker is, a southern boy. He's a religious fella. And he's such a kind person, and he just wants to walk and make some friends. And, I think that's his strength. In the most adverse conditions, he's all about the friendships and the experience and, bringing people together. I think that's his biggest strengths, and just, the way he inspires in his stillness and in his like grounded kind of energy. And then his biggest weakness, I think, funnily enough, is that. The
taking my answer.
Literally, yo, I'm stealing from this guy right here. No, in such an environment, there's only one winner. Do you know what I mean? There's only one winner, and people are gonna have to die. And if you are, like Art, and you want to, the Musketeers, you want to hold on, you want to, almost like just I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but kind of, build a friendship and find your way through, it's going to be hard. And I think that's the journey for all of us, including Stebbins, oddly enough. Do you know what I mean? And it's that battle between being young and being naive and, having all of these motivations, going on this walk, building these friendships, and the brotherhood, but against all the odds. I think that's the story, and that's Art's biggest, yeah.
Very well put. I often like to ask, what would you do in this type of situation? Questions. It does feel really bleak with this particular story, but I think it would give people a sense of how this game operates and also what tees someone up for success in it. For each of you, if you were involved in the long walk, what one thing would you bring with you?
Well, I've been saying Celsius, the energy drink, because believe me, did I drink so much on that set. You also said headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stealing my answers.
Treating it like a little bit of
I
a
guess
workout.
anything
but
is allowed. There's no
anything
rules.
is allowed. But we also realized walking on this walk of shooting production, anything weighs you down. Anything begins to you carry that on your body. My canteen was always filled, and that would weigh me down. The backpacks would just start to wear at your shoulders. Like anything you bring with you becomes part of you for that entire walk.
Anyone else got a thing they want to bring? You two can play too.
I mean, it sounds real bleak, but like something sharp or like a pill that I could. I just like
Whoa,
to.
that's dark.
I
Oh
didn't know
my
we were
God.
going there.
I just wouldn't want the
Yo.
soldiers to do it to me.
Oh my
I don't
gosh, JT.
Oh, my heart.
I'm just telling the truth.
Oh my.
Okay. You asked.
I don't think I have anything. Just do it.
I feel like I keep thinking about the little energy jelly beans that you can take with you on marathons. That
Right.
feels very
Yeah,
appropriate.
the little, yeah, of course.
I got to rap with you all soon. I can keep you here all day. I'm not
I would
allowed.
be here all day with
I mean,
you.
alcohol would be nice to have.
Truly,
in a certain
anytime you
situation.
want. You're welcome back in this studio. I want to make sure to squeeze in that ensemble question because a couple weeks ago, even I was talking to Mark, and he made a point to stress to me every single person in this movie is a standout. I will preface this question by saying it's a little unfair, and I wish we had time to name drop everybody. But can you each tell me something you saw someone do on this set that made you go, my God, that's incredible, and I can't wait for moviegoers to get to see it on the big screen?
Y'all don't know his name yet, but my God, will you? This kid is unbelievable in this movie. This man is unbelievable in this movie. And I remember being on set, and as the days progress and the walk progresses, what kind of performance choices are these actors making to wear that in their body, right? What does it look like when you start limping? What does it look like when your shoulders hunch, right? And to see the physicality that he brought to this role was so beautiful and so immersive and impressive alongside Ben Wong, who had this amazing kind of just distraught walk. And it's so personal to each person and what it feels like in your body and what's hurting on that day. And the raw emotion that they bring to these performances is so beautiful and so captivating to watch. And the story that you wrote is it's just brilliant. And I think that audiences will get a lot out of the performances of this film and the sense of camaraderie and brotherhood. That's what really brought me to this script and made me love it so much.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh God.
Put you on the spot.
So if you don't mind, what did you think about me?
What did you think of
Oops.
Garrett's performance?
It was all right. No, everyone was great. And honestly, right back at you, brother. This person, just as a person is so great, but then as an actor is just extraordinary, and I think the one thing, it's hard for me to say the one thing because I feel like that's so specific and, but if I was to say one thing, it was, when we were, there was this, I don't think you'd look into this too much, but you were walking and...
It's about me?
Yeah. He was walking and I can't even...
No, don't. Yeah, stop.
No, because this is the thing. If we try and talk about it, there's so many spoilers, and I'm not trying to be that guy.
Just
Not
tell
yet.
me afterwards because I would love a
Can I say
compliment.
something nice quickly about
the
him?
time will come.
This is important because
Can I hint it?
There's no what? No, don't talk about that.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
I really want to say something I haven't said in any of these interviews
I'm in
today.
trouble.
It's that the directive from Francis was, and it's always the way I like to write anyway, was that there's no villains in this story. So find a way. Well, there is a villain in the story, but as far as the ensemble group goes, everybody's got a point of view, and everybody has a reason for the way they're behaving, just like in real life. And let's forgive these characters, and let's find the there aren't white hats and black hats among these kids. And so characters like Stebbins and Barkovich, played by Garrett and Charlie, were what I was most excited about watching. And all the performances are so good, and I could spend an hour talking about each one of them. But what I was really excited about was the two characters that are supposed to be sort of like villainous. The actors brought so much humanity to those characters, and you feel for them at times, like you should, and that's because of Garrett. That's because of Charlie, and that's because of Francis for directing them. But like, you know, I thought that was really cool, and so there you go, man. We got Garrett his compliment. You got
Thank
yours.
you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Beautiful answers. I got to let you go, but I can't let you go without referencing another movie, because you can't announce a new Stephen King adaptation and not have me ask about it. You're making The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. My big burning
making
question
that?
about that one is, we get tons of Stephen King adaptations. There are so many books and novellas and everything to choose from. Why particularly now for a movie version of that story?
I've I've been reading Stephen King for a long time, but in the 90s, when I was growing up, my mom gave me that book to read, and she said it was the one Stephen King book I almost skipped. And she said, you got to read this. It's my favorite Stephen King book. And it became not only her favorite Stephen King book, but maybe her favorite book. And she just loves it. And so when I started making movies, even before I had a feature, when I was making short films, I told my mom, who I'm incredibly close with, like, if I'm ever in a position to do it, I'm going to make a movie version of The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon for you. And it's a true story. And then years later, I make a feature, I make a second feature. I meet my fairy godfather, Roy Lee, who's changed my life in many ways. And he goes, are there any specific Stephen King books that you'd like to adapt? And I said, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. And he referred me to Andrew Childs, who works at Vertigo for him, and he said, you want to make this movie? Like, we might have an opportunity for it. So we've been kind of discussing it for a while, but it's finally ready to go.
I'm so pumped. You know I'm here for literally anything you touch, but in particular, seeing you stick with Stephen King material is making me very happy right now. I cannot wait to see The Long Walk. Thank you all so much for sharing some of your experience with us.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your
It was
Comic-Con.
great to meet you. Thank you for having
So
us.
lovely
You're
meeting
the best,
you too.
Perry.